Uh, absolutely. Looks like we got a couple of zero viewer people that we should grab up here.
Let's do it.
Uh,
Would you like to select one?
SaDOlution has 5 minute delay, no blocker. He doesn't care.
Let's
Nice of
do
him
it.
to put that right in the title. Let's grab SaDOlution up. And whoa, this board state is insane. Kalassar at 20 health has a board state that looks like it could be limited even. A Blessing of Unicorns, Chimera Guard Fallen, Ghost Feather, and Sunseer. A mono diamond deck by the looks. Swinging in with a 10-5 invincible troop against SaDOlution's Double Ashwood Soloist, Lethal Lyricist, and Eternal Sage. And another Sunseer hits the board. It doesn't look like any of the troops on Kalassar's side of the board have the Sunseer's prophesized effect on them, so that's interesting. But Blessing of Unicorns is on its own probably the mid-game answer to Calamity. Calamity cannot push damage through that.
It's interesting. This format doesn't have Extinction. This format has Purge and Noxious Glory, and a few 1 damage to all attacking troops kinds of things. 1 damage to ground troops, which people may or may not be using. So having 2 diamond troops on board is probably a lot easier in set 3 constructed.
Eternal Sage is enough to scare that off, though. A Ruby resource here would deal 2 damage to every troop on Kalassar's side of the board, and while that won't kill the Blessing does return to your hand at the beginning of your turn. At the end of your turn, if you don't control 2 other diamond troops. Now that being said, if you get 3 Blessings of Unicorn on the board, you are set.
You're all set. That's only a cool 12 resources.
Yeah. Well, but across 3 turns, you could play it out.
Yeah, that's right. That Eternal Sage has an effect whenever you gain a threshold. But if you look at SaDOlution's resources, he has 3 resources and has used his charge power. So it looks like a lot of that ramp has been used to get these Eternal Sages even on the board, and needs to find something to get that back up.
Here's a rules question. Can you double up Chimera Guard Fallen's ability on a troop?
I don't see why not. I haven't tried it myself.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like it would be a unique ability, but maybe. So we see the swing in from Blessing there. It has to be blocked by Lethal Lyricist, and Etherealize is used to turn an Eternal Sage into a Phantom. Yes, you can, says People It Stacks. Thank you to the chat.
Now, that is actually really cool because the double Eternal Sage meant that a single ruby would deal 2 damage to the board, but since one of the sages is now no longer a sage, that is reduced to 1, so only the Sunseers would be lost. The other 2 troops will keep the unicorn in tip-top shape.
Mm-hmm.
That is in play and not in Kalassar's hand at the end of the turn.
And we see another swing with the Blessing. The Phantom blocks here. 10 damage, really, really scary all on its own. And the Golden Avenger, a 4/4 unique, legendary 5-drop double diamond threshold, flying swift strike hero, really. Just the champion of diamond. Who, if he dies, will leave his mask behind so you can then play it on another troop you control and transform it into the Golden Avenger. Is crazy.
I love the flavor of that, the mechanic flavor of that, too.
If he plays Stinkhorn Soup on the Eternal Sage and then plays the Ruby, it will kill every troop on Kalassar's side of the board that isn't the Blessing of the Unicorn. He does have to draw a Ruby, and he's running, every time he doesn't have an elf on the board, he has been chumping with his elves, he actually loses the ability to have Feral Root Acorn gain him a Ruby, which is the only dual resource ability that he'll be able to play in this format. But he doesn't really have an option so much because he's taking a ton of damage all on its own here.
Despite the Blessing of Unicorns, he's been able to block every turn, so he's still at 18. But that is 10 damage a turn, so it's going to take out something. That soup has been making waves in this tournament.
Yeah. Most of the Dragonborn players appear to be abusing this kind of situation. SaDOlution, of course, draws a Feral Root Acorn that cannot gain him a Ruby resource because he is not in control of an elf. Had he just taken the 10 damage last turn, he would actually be able to clear the board here.
Still dangerous, though.
Now, he would have been able to clear the board, but he would still be dead next turn, because the Mask would then be played on the Blessing of Unicorns, and the Blessing of Unicorn would then swing over for lethal. So, it only works to some extent.
Now, a Knightsbane Oval reverting the Chimera Guard Fallen, and now we have a Golden Avenger with that power, so he's going to be an 8/4. So Blessing, while an invincible force to be reckoned with, can be blocked every turn. That Golden Avenger will do the same. Will do the job in 2. And if everything else attacks, it's not quite fatal. There are 2 blockers, but he's actually going to attack with quite a bit. And leaving 1 Sage up, 1 Sage will fall.
This does take a Mono Diamond deck, I believe, should Kalassar win on the next turn here, to...
Maybe that would have been fatal had he attacked everything. Because, yeah, he left 2 troops back. I don't see why they wouldn't have attacked. My math was bad. That's part of the trick. When you're in combat, when you have a complicated board state, figuring out that exact damage... that is a Stinkhorn soup, but not a ruby. Only half of the Sage soup ruby combo is there. And a good game, well played. That seems like that would be game 3. Let's see if we confirm that.
It was.